Vice President Research at IIFL Institutional Equities, joins us to discuss the buzzing space. That's the Capex theme, capital goods space. Hi, Renu. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining in. Well, yesterday the stock that outperformed was Siemens. They won that large order, and the street likes it quite a bit. What's your read-through with regard to this large order that they did win, and your view on Siemens at these valuations?
Sure. I think this is first of its type of public-private partnership order for rolling stocks from Indian Railways. And this is just the start on the locomotive side for 9,000 HP. Followed by this, we will have similar large stick or even orders larger than this for Vande Bharat train sets, as well as for 12,000 HP locos. So this is just the beginning. It's positive that activities have started moving in terms of electrical equipment supplies for railways. Coming on to Siemens winning this order, from a costing perspective, it was expected that Siemens would be better placed compared to its peer Alstom, who was the bidder. But what is more surprising is the price at which it has won. The price is almost 40 to 50% lower than the benchmark price, which Indian Railways had put across as the estimate. So an average loco price of 10 crores or less than that is definitely very aggressive, given that there are only two bidders. So we'll have to see what are the management comments in terms of how will they make money on this order. Nonetheless, 13,000 crores kind of order executable over 11 years with a 35-year AMC contract is definitely attractive and will help to improve the visibility for the mobility segment in Siemens, which is just barely 10% today. So this has been one of the key growth drivers for Siemens in the current fiscal year. And we think mobility will spearhead going forward in the next 12-18 months as well. So our view on Siemens is the order is positive in terms of improving growth visibility, but profitability in our view, based on the inputs that we have as on today, is extremely shaky on this project. So we need to see how Siemens will pull through in terms of margins on this over the next 5 to 7 years, while the Capex has been fairly supportive. So we have had an ad recommendation on the stock with a target price of close to, in terms, 3,200 rupees. So we'll have to, stock has done well. It is a good play on the diversified industrial Capex. But I think this order is a green shoot and a signal that large project awards from government sector for electrical rolling stocks have kickstarted. And this is just the beginning. But I don't see any reason why companies need to be really aggressive when competition is thin on the pricing side.
Renu, hi, good morning. You know, are we starting to? I saw, I think this was CMI data which said that private sort of Capex is, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong with it, because the numbers are large. They've finally gotten through the 6 lakh crore threshold. Overall investments, I think. I don't know if you've looked at that data after many years. Are we starting to finally get through with this long-awaited Capex revival cycle on the private sector?
Yes, I think the CMI data also gives you some of the data points with a lag. That is a reflection of the investments now being supported by private sector as well, which was fairly muted over the last 5 to 6 years. So while government investments were there, private sector investments started to pick up, I would say, post-pandemic, the second wave itself. We had started seeing accretion in order inflows for most companies in the last fiscal year or the last 4 quarters. And it's now that the execution has started to pick up. The CMI numbers in terms of project implementations have been reflecting. So we as a house have been positive on the Capex and the cyclical space. We think it's somewhere close to second year in terms of these orders coming through. And orders is always a lead indicator in terms of investment pickup. And I think it's been almost 4 quarters of the strength holding across mid and short cycle projects, as well as large cycle orders which have been there in pipeline. So I don't see any doubt on the Capex cycle recovery, and at least there should be 2 to 3 years of leg to this if it's well supported by investments in minerals and metals and government investments continuing on that side.
So you're expecting the order cycle to remain robust for the next 2 to 3 years at least. But just tell us, historically, in a pre-election year, that's next year for us, what happens in terms of a pickup in government spend as well as Capex? Any numbers that you could help us with?
Probably I don't have the numbers immediately handy, but anecdotally, whenever we have seen for any government, whether it's state or even more so the central government, 12-18 months ahead of the elections, the clear focus is on completing the mandates, especially on infra and large EPC construction projects. There are two things which happen. There is very strong cash flows across the existing projects so that projects are completed on time, which means the execution momentum for companies with backlog, with government focus and completed projects or projects which are fully funded and all clearances will see an acceleration. Second, large projects on which the governments have been working, they tend to come ahead in terms of a project award cycle. So ordering cycle also tends to accelerate before the code of conduct comes into the picture. So which is where we think that as we're heading towards elections in 2024 mid, CY23 would be a big year in terms of order inflow acceleration in various sectors, be it defense, infrastructure, where a lot of work has been done, but project awards were delayed for whatever reason. So there will be acceleration there. And the government fund flows in terms of tax collections, GST collections have been fairly healthy. So we don't see any pushback on this side. Second, the execution for all the companies, whether it's infra, EPC, construction, or cap goods, driven by the government sector, will see a significant acceleration.
Okay, all right, Renu, a little short on time, but thanks so much for stopping by and giving us your views. Look forward to chatting up with you rather soon.